Good afternoon, everyone. This is RAND. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Friday, February 28th, which is actually the last day of this month, 2025. After 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be having a reverse aging health call tonight after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. There are some things that need to be shared with people about what's transpired, and hasn't been presented to the people yet. Question rises and says that one asks, what are we here to do? So we're gods in the body, pure consciousness. Everyone has found a comfortable spot without any outside interference, relaxed into your body, as still as you can be, maybe as still as a statue. Focused on your breath rising and falling. What are we here to do? Well, on the physical material side, we're here to enjoy our lives. That seems pretty simple, doesn't it? Then on the other side, the spiritual side, we're here to master our ego mind, our thoughts, and embrace the now, and reside with the heart mind, which then gives us complete wild freedom, and we would really truly enjoy our lives in these bodies on this planet at this time. That's how it's laid out. Now, you're going to, in the material physical, you're still going to have enjoyable times and things in your life. But when I say really enjoy your life, I'm talking about across the board. I'm talking about the elimination of fear, anger, hatred, deceit, manipulation, dishonesty. All those things are gone. Mind chatter's gone. You know every single thought that you put out to the universe. You have 100% faith, confidence, and trust in yourself all the time, 24/7. You are in deep, eternal gratitude all the time. Not once in a while, but all the time. Even at times where you feel like things really suck right now, right? And this is all connected with meditation. That's the gateway. That's the beginning step for any of us on commitment to follow through with ourselves, go within, and discover who and what we are, the God, the pure consciousness, an omnipotently powerful, supreme, manifesting, abundant being that never dies. Now, a lot of us will just continue the cycle. We'll continue the cycle, which means, you'll have life, experiences, joys, letdowns, disappointments, and then leave the body and then come back in another life and do that repeatedly. Now, some of us will say, I know I've had lots of lives. That's great. I'm deeply grateful for that. But now what I want to do is I'm going to shift gears and I am going to focus on my essence, my spiritual essence. Now that takes commitment of oneself. It's not something that you can, just snap your fingers and have it happen. It's a process that you follow. It's kind of like an undiscovered country. You, for the first time, are discovering things about yourself, about your life, about your joy, bliss, and happiness, and about your disappointment, hurt, and pain. You're discovering all of these. And most likely for the first time you're embracing those with things within you that you have collected. We're all kind of collectors about things. You know, we collect experiences and we store them. It's like I've said, our subconscious mind, it stores everything the ego mind does, the subconscious mind records. And as I said before, it is highly detailed. It just doesn't miss a step. And then what it does with us is it randomly plays it back to us. See, this is, you know, it's why we have these experiences, and some of them feel like, I already had this. This is really weird. I've done this before. And here I am doing it again. Now, nobody can force, coerce, you to go within. It is your decision and your decision only. Nobody else's. So is there an influence? No. You're the influence. You determine. That, you know, it's time that I go within, and that I go through all my closets within, and all my storage lockers, and just get that stuff out, lay it out, and embrace it and let it go. If I find things that do not serve me the greater good that I've been carrying for a long time, there's no reason for me to carry it anymore. Now that's not, for some, that's not real easy, because you know, it's kind of like you don't use it, right? But you hold it, you carry it with you. And it doesn't mean that you visit it, it's just there. You know, it's kind of like when you say, wow, you seem to be carrying a lot of baggage. That term that's been used in our civilization for a long time, you know, you've got a lot of baggage. You should probably drop it off and take a look at all of it, and you'll be surprised on how much of it you never needed. It's gone. Once we release that, what we're doing is we're freeing ourselves. If you knew that something was temporary, right? If you knew it inside and out, without a shadow of a doubt, how would you feel about it? If you knew it wasn't permanent, you knew that at any moment it would be gone, how would you look at that? You know, you ask yourself, how would I look at that, knowing that, how do I perceive it, knowing that this body is temporary, that I'm in, that everything I do on this planet is temporary, it's short-lived. We think that 90 years is a long time. We've been convinced of that, right? It's a spit in the bucket. It is so small of an amount of time. And of course, we use time on this planet. A lot of planets don't use time. They don't even know what it is. It's a construct. It's kind of an enslavement tool, is what it is. Imagine yourself existing in a material physical world where there wasn't any time at all. You just freely went about enjoying your life and helping and assisting and serving others. That would be it. No hurry, right? No deadline. None of that. And the now is like that. When we decide that we're going to go in the now, we go through meditation, and we are in the now. We don't have any of that other stuff from the ego mind. It's not there. The ego mind knows that if it goes into the now, it will die. It will not go into the now. It will pull you out. It will pull you out and you wander around. And when that happens, and it happens to me all the time, you're focused on something, right? And then there's all this, it's like all of a sudden you're over here and you're out of it. And so what I do is I just start over. And I keep starting over until I complete what it is my focus is on. And see, it becomes kind of a game after a while because you go, okay, here, ego mind took me over here, boom, I'm back here. It's being aware of what and who we are in these bodies. And it's really interesting because we are the masters and commanders. We're not the slaves. We are not the servants. We are the masters and commanders of everything in this life, of everything in our spiritual existence. Nobody else is. Now, of course, we all have been in situations where we're directed or managed or, controlled in a way, manipulated. That's only because we allow it. That's the only reason. If you're interfacing with a being who you are feeling that they are manipulating you, right? You withdraw. Well, then that might be misconstrued as being a coward, right, in our society. No, you just withdraw. You don't care to engage with that kind of a low frequency. That's their prerogative, right? Not yours. You view, you interact, and then you say, no, I'm out of here. I'm done. Not interested in it. You're only doing things that you are interested in, that you feel a joy, a bliss, a happiness, a total wild freedom. That's it. That's what we really are. Total wild freedom. But in these constraints, in these emotional bodies, we don't see that. We see, we have these occurrences, experiences where we put up walls and we protect our egos, and we kind of move through this material physical life. And then we notice how fast things go, how quickly. Then we say, wow, even 100 years is not that long. What have I done so far to discover who and what I am? Not much. But I think it's time now that I do. Because no matter how you slice it or dice it and serve it, all of us will eventually move into a spiritual existence. We will exist in the now. We will be in deep eternal love with ourselves and the gods that we are. And we will be at complete peace with ourselves and everything outside of us. There won't be mind chatter. See, these are all the things we're experiencing now that we've experienced for lifetimes. That won't be there. This is the whole reason that, we experience these material physical bodies. Touch, feel, laugh, cry, make, love, all of this stuff. And we master the manipulative control freak of the ego mind. It's kind of fun. Especially you're halfway there when you can identify it. You're not judging at all. You're identifying these things. You're saying, I know this now. Didn't know it before. Kind of had a, premonition, but no, this is the real deal. So what I am going to do is I'm going to focus on the now as much as I can. This way I'll be able to master the ego mind and my thoughts. And see, everybody comes and goes in your life. You ever notice that? Some people stay a while. Others will come and then they're gone. And you say to yourself, okay, so I kind of like that one. They're gone now. What was it that they were teaching me? Because that's what they're doing. Doesn't mean they know that. And then you go, wow, okay, now I'm seeing clearly why they came in and left. Some come in for 5 seconds, others come in for 20 years. Or more. If you are not happy with yourself, you will never be happy with anything or anyone else. That's a given. Now we fight that. We do fight it. Oh no, that's not true. Look at this. Again, protecting the ego. So we begin to realize that it's all about you. Always has been. Some of us don't care to have that. We just kind of push it aside. Either don't have time for it. But maybe you've been around people that love themselves. And we're not talking ego-mind, we're talking heart-minded people that love themselves. And they love everything outside of them. They're not disrupted. They are not conflicted. They are not confused. They are in harmony with the gods that they are in those bodies. Why do you think that all of the disagreeing conflict and relationships of any kind happen? Right? Why is it that you have a couple and then you don't have a couple? Right? You have a relationship, you don't have a relationship. Are those just for experience? Maybe, some of it. Or are those that continually come into your life to teach you, to show you? And you ask yourself, where am I at with me? How do I feel about me? And this isn't, see, a lot of us will ridicule ourselves to a certain extent and degree. We will judge ourselves. In fact, sometimes I've been talking with people through existence that say that they hate themselves. That's a really powerful frequency. Because of this and because of that and because of this and because of that. Or how they look or how they live, or it's always, it's the why me and why this. But in actuality, every single interaction is a form of experience that we are taught many different things about ourselves. Right? Most people are afraid of themselves. That one of the biggest things that any of us can experience, and this is all through this life, and until we get to a certain level of comprehension, then it shifts a little bit, but is rejection. We do not like to be rejected on anything. It doesn't have to be like a relationship, or you ask someone to dance and they say no, so therefore you don't ask them to dance because you're afraid they will say no. Isn't that crazy? That means that we are really, really plugged in with the ego mind. Or if you ask someone that, hey, why don't you try this? You don't ask them because you're afraid they will say no. And a lot of us are controlled that way. We will not do things if we have already predetermined through our ego minds that it will, to us, right, that it will be a negative, that it will be a no. And then we find ourselves thinking and feeling in that frequency. And then we could literally stop ourselves and say, no, I'm not going down there. I'm going over here. Over here is a lot more interesting. Over here has a lot more adventure, a lot more fun, and a lot more higher vibrational frequency. Down over here, I've been there enough. I don't really care to go there anymore. Slowly but surely, we just, by yourself, you bring yourself up higher and higher. And you begin to realize, well, hey, you know, you don't know, you've done this with yourselves probably. You don't know until you ask. How are you going to know unless you ask? And you don't ask in a timid way, whatever it may be. You ask confidently, right? You're firm, you're good, you're confident, and so you ask. Now, you ask, and for whatever it is, doesn't happen, you're fine. It's not a big deal. You're not shattered or destroyed. You're fine. And you just move on to the next thing. Many of us, we aren't willing to do that because a lot of the times we're disappointed, let down. Personally, we feel personally attacked. But rejection is a huge thing in this social structure on planet Earth, of being turned down or getting a no or those things. It scares us. We're frightened of it at times. And so it's, I'm not going to ask. Because they'll probably say no anyway. This is how we do it. And then some of us will say, it's not a big deal, I'll ask anyway. You've seen that, right? Maybe you have. You say, I'm just going to ask. Yeah. If it's good, it's good. If it isn't, it isn't. And you move on. But it's our choice. It is no one else's. It's our choice. It's our choice to go within. It's our choice to discover who and what we are. And this is why lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, we don't do it. Because, and someone might say, well, how do we know we don't do it? Because we don't have memory. Because if we did, we wouldn't care to be in these bodies. See what I mean? We wouldn't. When you master something, right? When you truly master something, you have the confidence, you know how to do it, you do it very well. And then you say to yourself, it's time for me to move on and master something else. Not easy to do that either. Because when you have a mastership of something, whatever it may be, you're confident, you're trusting, you have great faith because you've accomplished that. And then you have this feeling that, well, if I go over here, I'm a rookie and I really don't know anything about it. Well, that's how you started with this before you mastered it. This is what we do in these lives. We master something, and then we move on. And we master something else, and then we move on. A lot of us will get stuck in that mire where we won't go and master something else. We will just stay there in our mastership. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's not a negative. And it's like you'll see people with certain skills that, like carpenters or woodworkers, people that you work with their hands, build things, people that are great management people. They've mastered the art of management. Things like that. And so and even though they started from the beginning with that, whatever it may be, they mastered it. Isn't it interesting? So when they're presented with something that they have no idea, about what it is, and they're given the opportunity to master it, a lot of the times they'll backpedal and say, "No, I'm good here. I'm good here." And this is why we get stymied, and this is why we withdraw. And every single experience that we create in our lives is an adventure. Now, you choose the type of adventure you want. Do you want a joyous, happy, blissful adventure? Or do you want the opposite of that? Or do you want in between? You see, we have a recipe. All of us have this master recipe book. And it's got the greatest recipes ever in this book. And this book is huge. And so as life unfolds, we have these different recipes that we can call upon. And they're very good. They taste good. They're flavorful, wonderful, give you a good feeling. And that's what all these recipes are. So we have this recipe book, and we go in there, and we pick out a recipe, and then we create it. And then we experience it. Now, that doesn't mean that we have total recollection, right? By now, we should have total recall on all those recipes. So we're constantly creating more recipes which appear in this book. Some of them are new, so we try them and go, that's not for me. Others, same thing with others that are new. Oh, this is wonderful. I'm going to put that in my book. And these are all adventures. This is all we have in life. Everything we do is an adventure. That may not seem that way. I mean, taking a shower is an adventure, or walking the dogs is an adventure, or stirring soup is an adventure. It's how we perceive things. It's just absolutely spectacular that we have these physical forms to experience physical material adventures. It's absolutely magna glorious. Everything about these bodies is magna glorious. It's absolutely stupendous. Yeah, we take it for granted. We take our bodies for granted. The majority of people on this planet do. They take their bodies for granted. Until the body says, hey, we got some issues here, and you're not going to ignore these. See? Because the body never lies. So, and then your attention goes there. But when you don't need to really put your attention on the body is that's when you should be putting attention on your body. To love the vessel you're in is paramount. Exactly the way it is. It's paramount. Most of us have this, this visual. We look at ourselves. We don't look at ourselves in the mirror. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. After a while, we will not look at ourselves in the mirror. Have you ever done that? Yeah, when you're younger and everything. But then as as the body begins to decompose, you go, I'm not going to look in the mirror. I'm not going to look at myself. And that's ego mind. Okay? Instead of saying, wow, I've really had some adventures, haven't I? And it's humorous. Laughter's great. So I have really had some adventures in this life so far. Doesn't mean the life's over. And that's where we come in and say, I do not take this life too seriously. I don't. Why would we? It's temporary. And it will end. To kind of end. Because we're constantly continuing. But it'll be over. And we move on. And that's why we're always in the now and practicing being in the now, because we savor every single moment. Moment to moment to moment. Now, In ego mind, we don't do that. We don't do that. We're concentrating on a month from now, a year from now, and a lot of people do this. Or a year ago, or yesterday, or tomorrow. When those yesterday's gone, tomorrow isn't here, but we're focused on that. And we're not focused on the moment we're in. I've talked to people that will say, I want to just drop my smartphone, all of that, computers, everything, and just go somewhere and just be. No interruptions, no having to do this or having to do that. That's our natural state. And some of us are drawn to that. That's our natural state of being. To be totally at peace. To be under no compressed time. To just have none of that. Well, how many of us do that? Not many. Reason is because we're so trapped and caught up in it. And, who's trapping us? We are. We're the ones doing it. It's like with ourselves, we're doing it. We're attracting it. We're manifesting it. No one else is. Nothing outside of us is. So what we're actually doing, and it doesn't matter how many lifetimes, it really doesn't, we are mastering life. That's what we're doing. When it all comes down to it, each and every one of us, gods, are mastering material physical life. And what does that mean? It means that you will eventually be in total joy, bliss, and harmony, and heart-mindedness, deep eternal love with yourself and the God that you are, and everything outside of you. That's mastership. That's what it's about. We master it and we move on. And then we master something else. Now, you have recollection of past lives. Think about this. If you had right now in this very moment, you knew all of your past lives. I mean, clear as a bell. You knew every single thing that you experienced when you were that life. Would you, and in this very moment, the way you are right now, would you want to keep reincarnating? That's an interesting question, isn't it? You master material physical life, which means that you ascend from material physical to God particle. And you enjoy the material physical way much more than if you were asleep, sleepwalking through it, which most of us are. You embrace it. Because it's a wonderful vehicle, it's a wonderful tool, it's a wonderful adventure. Rather than us, there's a lot of people that believe that, they were given a life of misery. That's just total crap. They weren't given a life of misery. They created a life of misery for themselves. You could be on a deserted island all by yourself. You have two choices. You're going to master your existence in that body on that island, or you're going to fight it. It's a big difference. So as you master it, you won't be on that island eventually. You'll see the different fruits and the different things that you can indulge in, and the food available there on that island. And if there's not much on the island, there's something around it. And then you manifest where you will go. Now, many people, because they don't believe in themselves, they don't trust themselves, they don't have a lot of faith in themselves, will say, well, that's just garbage. That you die on that island. You wouldn't survive. Not true. Not true. The opposite. In the event that you have 100% faith, 100% trust, 100% confidence in yourself, you will manifest things that will sustain you until you determine where you want to go from there. And this is all about mastership. We master material physical life as a God particle. That's what we are. We are God's pure consciousness. We come into these bodies to master these lives. So we master them through adventures. Each adventure we master. And we go to the next adventure, and then to the next, and the next. And why are we mastering them? Because we create those so that we have something to master. We'd go bonkers if we had nothing to create, nothing to master. It's what we do 24/7. And every one of us will eventually move into mastership of material physical life through heart-mindedness, through the gods to the body, period. We all will eventually get there. It isn't a race. There really isn't any finish line. As you say to yourself, I've mastered this, I am deeply grateful for it, and all the things I've experienced while I was mastering it. There's a difference, big difference between saying that in ego mind and saying that in heart mind. Big difference. So in the quiet time of this meditation, and you're relaxed into the body, you have no outside interference, you're still as a statue, you're focused on your breath rising and falling, you're with the God that you are, you're in pure consciousness. Ask yourself, am I mastering this life or am I fighting it? Join in the meditation. I'll return and close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body, focused on your breath rising and falling. There is no more need to be stuck. The same old stagnant patterns of your mind are a delusion. You are not stuck anywhere. Wake up. You are a divine being of God. Make the commitment to ignore that old path of lacking money, love, empowerment, and freedom. Don't you already feel hopeless and pathetic enough? For today, practice saying yes to the experience of having access to love, joy, and total freedom. Choose to feel free in your work or lack of work. Choose to feel free in your amazing relationships or your lack of amazing relationships. Choose to feel free in your health or your lack of health. Commit yourself to feeling free. You're free to feel, think, imagine, and believe anything you want. Just claim it today. This is your freedom. You're free to say out loud right now, I am the God force, powerful, alive, and free. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night and the following morning. And we will return here tonight after 9:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our reverse aging health call and all the rest. And Saturday, March 1st, 2025, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on within you or all around you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.